Ned Fulmer already looked pretty bad last month.
Letting a girl grab your junk on the dance floor.
Oh, guys working things out?
Yeah, we're working things out.
But now more information has come out.
A mountain of new evidence.
We drove our cars separately here. Both of us were done for the day. And Ned's like, oh, okay, I'll see you in like an hour and a half. I was like, why?
And people having, you know what, in a car at 5:45 while kids and families are walking around.
And it happened to match out the license plate.
Neddy Ned. I found out your shenanigans in May.
Yes, I did work with him. No, I did not like working with him. I thought it was pretty obvious, but...
My wife. Feels weird.
If you have to make it your entire personality, it means you're compensating for that fact. That's what that means.
My wife.
So, just when we were ready to wrap up Ned Fulmer's career and tuck it away for a long winter's sleep, alarming new information has leaked, and it just keeps getting worse for Ned and his wife and his kids. And like his Tesla? Yes, friends, there has been even more coming out about this situation and brand new details about his affair with his subordinate, Try Guys employee, food baby Alex. But first, oh hi there, hello, hi, it's my face again, Swoop! Swoop! Swoop, 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 swoop. Wow, hi, hello, hi. Listen, I had no idea that this would become a two-part series, but there have been many alarming new discoveries that have come out that I think just shed a deeper light on just how problematic and destructive situations like this can be for many people. So here we are. And also, if you're seeing me for the first time, welcome. I'm a filmmaker and make documentaries and short films on unsolved cases, true crime, and social media influencers who abuse their power and manipulate audiences because, as I always say, it's not drama, it's dangerous. We also dig deeper into the root psychology, and sometimes we take it to petty university, okay? Because a bitch can only take so much gaslighting, deflection, total avoidance, and manipulation before we just gotta start blasting facts in a less subtle context, okay?
It's facts! It's facts! It's not facts. It's facts!
Oh, and yes, very exciting news. The new Petty University Fall Winter Collection, the apparel launch is coming next week. If everything goes on time, I cannot believe it is already here. Y'all, I am so freaking excited. I feel like my face is just going to melt off. The new collection is unlike anything that I have ever done. New designs, new pieces, and yes, we are finally going to have some bottoms, okay? Did somebody say a matching set? So stay tuned for that. So this is part 2 of a series that I am doing on Ned Fulmer and the Try Guys situation. In part 1, I broke the timeline of events and like the facts around it and just trying to dispel a lot of the misinformation that was swirling around the interwebs. It has a tendency to do that while keeping a gentle focus on respecting Ned's wife, Ariel, the person that I believe has been the most affected by this, yet often forgotten in this whole situation. And you know, just a reminder to all, if you're out here in these streets being problematic in ways that affects, you know, millions, you're gonna get got, okay? If you are an influencer out here lying, manipulating your audience, covering up your bullshit, or refusing to acknowledge it even exists, the truth will always prevail, eventually. And as we all know, that's what happened to adorable little Ned Fulmer, former Try Guy, irritating wife guy, cheater guy, cheated with employee guy, gross boss, cheater, bad wife guy. You know the guy. Now, we're gonna look at a brief history of the wife guy, the new details that have come out about Ned's affair, and some potential psychology that could explain but not excuse his brazen behavior, and look closer at relationships where someone cheats and the partner decides to stay. It's a lot. Buckle in, you know what to do, and we're gonna dig into all of that, but real quick, I wanna give a huge thank you to today's sponsors who make this possible. Rocket Money, possibly the most incredibly helpful app I have ever used. I got a question for y'all. Have you ever downloaded a free trial of an app and then like forgotten about it only to find out that the trial ended and you've been paying monthly for it when you didn't mean to? Which is why I started using Rocket Money, and it has been a game changer. So Rocket Money is an all-in-one finance platform that helps you save more and spend less. Think of it like your personal finance manager. It safely and securely gathers all of your accounts in one place and allows you to manage like virtually everything, like all your monthly subscription services. It can help lower your bills all in one place. Child, listen, I was shocked at how many monthly subscriptions I had that I had either completely forgotten about or only used them like one time forever ago, and I'm willing to bet that some of y'all might be too. So Rocket Money safely and securely finds these recurring charges and lists them all out and then cancels unwanted subscriptions for you with just a tap. I didn't have to call customer service. It was so much easier. And I also use it to lower my bills. Like I was paying way too much for my monthly internet bill. You know how they just like suddenly jack up your price? But literally with just like a couple of taps, Rocket Money negotiated my bill for me and got a much lower monthly rate by finding like these hidden discounts and promos that I had no idea about. And you'd be surprised at how many bills can actually be lowered. Like I'm talking your cable, internet, phone, credit cards, most of them can be negotiated lower. You can also do things like set budgets that automatically monitor your spending by category. It has just like really just made managing finances so much easier now. I had no idea that this was a thing. So I'm telling y'all, this is your sign. Grab hold of your finances and save money in the process. Try Rocket Money for free and unlock more features with premium, and head to rocketmoney.com/swoop or click the link in the video description and treat yourself to the financial freedom that you deserve, honey. Okay, back to the doc. And once again, y'all, I just want to thank you for being here. I always want to make a point to thank you because I know that your time is very precious, and I just am so appreciative that you tune in to my docs week after week, and also for tapping and checking out the sponsors. I only partner with companies that I think are going to bring some benefit or some joy to your life, so I hope that you find something great with them, and it is a great way to also help support the channel in the process. And I just appreciate y'all so much. I literally, none of this would happen without you, and I'm just so humbled, and I love our community so much, our very petty community. Okay, let's dig in.
My wife, 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 my wife.
Now, remember how wife guy, try guy, Ned Fulmer guy made his entire online personality about being the doting husband?
I'm the one that always talks about his wife and his baby.
And then remember how he got caught cheating on his wife and everyone was shooketh?
Ned Fulmer is no longer working with the Try Guys.
And that the person he was cheating on was an employee under him with the Try Guys.
On Labor Day weekend, multiple fans alerted us that they had seen Ned and an employee engaging in public romantic behavior.
And then how Ned admitted it and said it was under the guise of he lost focus. Well, we need to talk about that part, the losing focus part, because these new details that have come out would indicate that Ned was in fact very focused. Like I said, focused on that ass, okay? But first, we need to dissect this wife guy term even more than we did in the first Ned Fulmer doc. So class in session, roll the intro. Here is the history of wife guy. Now, in the first video we did on Try Guy, Wife Guy, Ned Guy, we defined wife guy as a wife guy is a man who posts content about his wife in order to upgrade his social standing and public opinion of him, or a guy whose fame or career is owed to the content he posts about his wife. The wife guy seems to love all the adulation that comes with being a man who appears to be obsessed with his wife or partner. So now that everyone and their grandma has heard the term wife guy, hi grandmas, let's add some to the definition and see what's been going on in this relatively new space. The wife guy is a mutation of the Instagram husband, you know, the man who exists to take flattering photos of his wife or, you know, girlfriend, except that the wife guy is no longer content behind the scenes. He is kind of crafting a whole persona around being that guy. You know, he married a woman and now that is his personality. And we can all agree that that's as Ned as it gets, okay?
My wife, my wife, my wife, my wife, My wife! My wife, my wife, my wife, my wife.
A wife guy is not embarrassing because he is overly devoted to his wife. He is worthy of suspicion because he appears to be using his devotion to his wife for personal gain. And I think I said this maybe in the previous doc, but like, I just generally, my opinion here, while like, you know, it's cute or whatever, it's also like, I don't think you should necessarily get famous and like make millions of dollars for doing the basic things of like just loving your partner. You know what I mean? I feel like you should just do that intrinsically, and I don't really feel the need to applaud you for doing the bare minimum of loving the person that you swore in front of a bunch of people that you would love till death do you part. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. Okay, moving on. Yeah, while a wife guy may seem harmless, it's a kind of a red flag at best, and we can see this red flag from even the very first official wife guy. And that man is Robbie Tripp, who posted this on Instagram on July 30th, 2017. I love this woman and her curvy body. As a teenager, I was often teased by my friends for my attraction to girls on the thicker side, ones who were shorter and curvier, girls that the average basic bro might refer to as chubby or even fat. Then as I became a man and started to educate myself on issues such as feminism and how the media marginalizes women by portraying a very narrow and very specific standard of beauty, thin, tall, lean, I realized how many men have bought into that lie. For me, there is nothing sexier than this woman right here. So this is actually nice, right? You know, a straight man willing to stand up for body positivity, rally against manufactured beauty standards. That's all fine and good.
So Robbie, you must feel as if you've really started something here. Why did you put this post up there in the first place?
It's actually something that I do frequently. If you were to scroll back on my Instagram feed, you would see that I use my Instagram as a place to write about the things that inspire me and the things that I'm passionate about, and no one does that more than this beautiful girl right here. So I write posts about Sarah frequently, and this is just the one that happened to go viral, and it was definitely a surprise to both of us.
Oh, isn't that just so sweet? So Swoop, where's the red flag, you might ask? Well, like he said, this post went kind of viral, and people started giving Robbie attention, and Robbie liked that. And brands liked the attention that Robbie was getting. And well, this is Robbie now. Yes, friends, that's right. He's a rapper, okay? He's a I'm gonna just calm down all of the thoughts that I immediately had there. But the thing is about him being a rapper, he raps solely pretty much about his plus size wife. Like literally, there's like all he raps about. Now, I did not anticipate this turn of events. What is it though that Robbie really loves? Is it his wife or is it the attention? I hope he loves his wife. That's the basic minimum promise that he made, but I'm quite certain he also, maybe more so, loves the attention because he wasn't a rapper before that IG post. And so what about Ned? With everything that you've seen, like in my part 1 and all the stuff floating around, do you think his wife guy persona was anything more than overcompensating and for attention?
My wife, my wife, my wife, my wife, my wife, my wife, my wife.
Because that's what it looks like, boo. So the first wife guy turned out to be kind of cringe, but they can't all be that bad, can they? Well, we can't talk about wife guys falling from public grace without bringing up John Mulaney. So before Ned, John Mulaney was the previous wife guy who had fallen from the public's grace. He had crafted an on-stage and off-stage image as a non-toxic man who loved his wife, Anna Marie Tendler.
Congratulations, you got married. I think.
Oh, thank you very much.
And also, quite famously, did not want children.
No, like we said, we don't know if we're gonna have it. No, I know. You don't know if you're gonna have them, but you never know. Sometimes you don't know what's gonna happen.
And that was something that resonated with the millennial culture that would have been far out of place with previous generations. So when he filed for divorce and mere days later announced he had impregnated Olivia Munn while also just getting out of rehab, it seemed completely out of character, right? The character that his fans trusted, turns out it wasn't really real. The character that he created and profited from, the character that made him successful, the wife guy character, don't want kids character, wasn't it at all.
To date me right out of recovery, which is what they call a reverse catch, I got into this relationship that's been really beautiful and with someone incredible who has dealt with the non-coked up Bambi version of me. And that's been very incredible. And she's kind of held my hand through that hell. And we're having a baby. together.
Now, there is one wife guy who hasn't fallen yet, and he is in fact one of the most famous wife guys out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you John Legend. Now, although he was famous before he married Chrissy Teigen, he catapulted into superstardom when he released his song All of Me, in which the video featured Chrissy Teigen and was filmed in Italy in the days just before him and Teigen were married, and in fact has some video from their wedding at the end of it. Then at the Grammys that year, John Legend performed that song to her where they pulled, you know, the lights down low except for a spotlight right on Chrissy and him singing to her. Honestly, this kind of thing makes me just kind of like, it's not my thing, but I get that it can be other people's thing, but you know, fine. But since that moment, he's been superstar wife guy now, and his brand of love songs, you know, had a face and a name intertwined with them. And he kept the wife guy thing going because I think he realized it made more money. Like now it seems like every song he does is about her and features her in the music. And I say about her because most of the time songwriters are just writing songs hoping they'll be hits. He's remained like virtually untouched when the internet called Chrissy out for bullying, and more specifically bullying a minor and telling them to literally unalive themselves.
Sticks and stones may break your bones, but Chrissy Teigen's words will hurt you.
And he was with her during this time, but there was no like, hey, you must be co-signing this behavior, you know what I mean? So in some ways, all he does is win, 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 no matter what benefits the most. And he uses her, and I think to a degree, he exploits that relationship for his gain. They have shared many a questionable photo and stories that I don't think would have been done otherwise if they weren't exploiting the relationship, if he wasn't playing into that wife guy persona. But when she gets called out, no one calls him out. So being a wife guy is currently a working strategy for good old Johnny boy, okay?
Neddy Ned Ned Ned. I found out your shenanigans in May. I saw you at Castaway Restaurant in Burbank with this woman.
Okay, as promised, we need to sit down and have a talk about the new evidence in this Ned Fulmer scandal, as well as Ned and his focus, okay? Remember, said he lost focus, so we're gonna help him focus a little better. Ain't it funny how the fuzzy outlook of your moral compass can snap right back into focus when the entire internet dusts some baby powder on its palm, leans back, and just slaps the taste out of your mouth? This mother trucker over here, did I just say mother trucker? I said it, let's go with it. This mother trucker had not lost focus, okay? No. He was brazenly out there in them streets, cheating on his wife every 3 to 5 business days, in public, 4 months, possibly longer. And remember, we know he and Alex were spotted and filmed in May.
Neddy Ned Ned Ned. I found out your shenanigans in May. I saw you at Castaway Restaurant in Burbank with this woman. As we've discovered now, it gets much worse for Flanders. I'm gonna call it Ned Flanders. I'm calling him Flanders now. Even more evidence has risen from the depths of the internet after the scandal had broken and after the first doc I did on Ned. Oakley dokley! And we need to talk about this from a few angles. First, after Ned was fired from the Try Guys and the scandal rocketed around the world, essentially, on September 27th, when the Try Guys, Ned, and Ariel all made their notepad statements, TMZ just so happens to get video of Ned and Ariel walking to their car the very next day on September 28th. So this is before the Try Guys made their What Happened video on October 3rd. Like, TMZ just happened to catch Ned and Ariel walking to their Tesla where they asked them this.
Hey, are you guys working things out?
So a few things here that just were, they caused me to like have some pause. First, look at how they are smiling and look at each other. They're like, this isn't at their house, right? They're parked on the street. Why would there be a paparazzi there? Believe it or not, you know, I live in this town. Paparazzi are not just like everywhere all the time, okay? Unless, you know, there's a couple of restaurants where they know there's always gonna be a celebrity there. They are most often given leads and told when and where they should be to catch a pic of someone. I mean, we even learned that directly in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial that I covered, that there are dispatchers for them at organizations
organizations like TMZ.
And what were your responsibilities as a field assignment manager for TMZ?
I was the go-between the news desk in the office and the reporters in the field, which you might know as paparazzi.
Approximately how many paparazzis were you in charge of?
At the time, it was about 20 in LA, a handful, maybe 3 in New York, and then 1 in DC.
And what were your responsibilities specifically as to the paparazzi?
It would be to dispatch paparazzi to various locations based on tips or just direction dictated by having a list of sort of hot spots where celebrities would be.
So Ned and Ariel are caught by a paparazzi on the street? Like, they smile at each other, and she has a pretty quick response.
Hey, are you guys working things out?
Yeah.
You are?
We're working things out.
Well, that's good to hear. Hi, Ariel. Hi, Ned. Hey, what's next in your career?
Working on working things out. Now, the other thing we know about paparazzi is that sometimes people call them on themselves. I mean, like, how do you think that Austin McBroom sets up his impromptu interviews coming out of restaurants? Like,
our social gloves is bankrupt, which is cap. It's false. It's not true.
Child, ain't no one following that heifer around at a restaurant waiting for him to say, no, they're all staged, right?
And who were the type of sources that TMZ received tips from?
They would receive tips from, oftentimes it would be publicists, managers, agents, or B-list celebrities.
So in looking at all of this, it kind of begged the question, is it possible that Ned called the paparazzi as a PR stunt? I mean, yes, it's 100% possible. Now remember, this is September 29th, and the now infamous What Happened Try Guys video that the rest of them put out didn't come out until October 3rd. So I'm wondering if it's not more probable that Ned called the paparazzi or, you know, a friend to pretend to be a paparazzo in an attempt to get in front of whatever the Try Guys were going to do next. I mean, we all saw that terrible SNL sketch that seemed like retaliation against the Try Guys, the 3 innocent ones. You know, for a quick refresher, let's just watch a snip from my first doc on that so we get a reminder. Anyone remember the tripod episode where he talks about his Yale friend who writes for SNL asking for a friend? What in the whole grain, gluten-free, mashed potatoes and gravy with a side of Pete Davidson spread evenly on a buttery biscuit kind of audacity is this? Now, this actually goes a couple levels deeper. So it turns out that yes, Ned's friend from college, Will Steven, is in fact a writer on SNL and was one of the 4 writers on the Try Guys sketch. Bitch, I kid you not. But wait, there's more. This actor, Jared Popkin, who is occasionally on the Try Guys channel, is best friends with SNL cast member Chris Red. And Jared actually took food baby Alex, the one who had the affair, to see a taping of SNL as a VIP, you know, after party and all. In fact, she detailed it on one of the Try Guys podcasts.
Good buddy Jared Popkin, friend of the show. He was hanging out. He's got the ties to SNL.
Yeah.
So you guys went to see the show?
Yeah, so Jared mentioned that his best friend Chris Red is a longtime cast member on SNL. So
Which is just a very funny, casual thing that Popkin and Chris Red
Just
are
casually, it's my best friend.
Genuinely,
Well, they've been friends for, a decade.
He was
They're roommates,
saying
I
it's
think.
not just friends, like they were like the first roommates in Chicago when
They
they
were
lived
roommates.
like
Yeah,
as
they were
22-year-olds.
very
And they were roommates.
He's never been to the show before, so I convinced him to stay the weekend with me to take me to SNL. It was cool because normally if you're like a guest of one of the cast members, you can watch the show from the green room. Oh, we're just gonna like watch from the studio audience. It'll still be fun, but like not as fancy. But because we were in the studio audience, that meant all of the guests were in the studio audience. So Eric Andre was there, Cara Delevingne, Sarah Hyland and her husband.
So there are actually deep ties between both the guilty parties, Ned and Alex, and SNL, and directly to the sketch. Let that sink in for a second, because that shit is just fucking bananas. They literally, Ned's friend is a writer for that sketch. Alex went as a VIP to SNL, and then they come out with this sketch that is so deeply out of touch with the reality of how heavy the situation was. Like, just... So if all of that is correct, which then would it not make all of the sense that Ned maybe called the paparazzi to smooth over his image the day after the Try Guys made their notepad statement and Ned and Ariel made their statements, and, you know, the statements where he used the same font as the Try Guys statement?
We did not have insight into what his statement was. I also want to say that we did not coordinate fonts. I believe that he saw ours and copied it.
That is our opinion.
And it is an opinion that I'm not happy about.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I'm like, you got to choose the same font
that
made it look like we wrote your... Come on, man.
It's my opinion that was on purpose.
So is it then more likely that if we see this pattern in Ned where he seemingly does everything in his power to smooth over or exact revenge over the mistakes that he made, you know, the adultery that he committed, the workplace environment that he ruined, the potential power abuse over an employee, is it more likely that TMZ was randomly on a street with him and Ariel walking up, or is it more likely that he fucking called them and told them where to be? Leave me your thoughts in the comments. So let's all collectively remember the timeline here, people. Okay, Angela. Okay, you remember Dominique. Dominique, I'm gonna need you taking notes. Okay, good. What day is this? It's September 28th. The Try Guys fired him. Ariel has known about the affair for a minimum, we believe, of 24 days. Does she actually feel this way? Working it out? Is this just a PR move that she was potentially pressured into? Let me know in the comments what you think about this specifically, because what no one saw coming is what this video led to now. Many weeks later, this TMZ video is about to blow up in Ned's face again. Now you might be saying what this video led to? Swoop, whatever are you talking about? I don't know why I did that. Y'all don't talk like that. Anyways, the internet sleuths will grasp at any tiny splinter and grab it and dissect it and look at its DNA and use that information like a guiding light that may start like a tiny little flicker, but then they will follow it relentlessly until it shines brighter than the sun. Because if Ned did call the TMZs to come meet him at the Tesla, I bet he now wishes he didn't, okay? The very end of the video when Ned and Ariel drive away, the original footage from the paparazzi did not cut away or blur the license plate number. Now, we're not gonna show the license plate number, but I have verified it with my own eyes, and so have these internet sleuths. I still like to call them sleuths. I think it's sleuths, but that's like, it's a kind of a hard word for me to, so sleuths. Sleuths. So someone took this license plate number and matched it to a tweet that was posted back in May. People, this is not a game, okay, Stanley? Sit up straight, Stanley, because we really gonna get into it, okay, Curtis? Curtis, you watching this, right? Okay, Curtis, all right, I'm counting on you. Stephanie, I see you in the back, Steph, okay? We ready? I'm telling you, for people to match a video clip with a photo, there ain't no metadata like listing license plate numbers in like a tweet of a photo. Like, that's just, this is wild to me. In this tweet back in May, someone put this car, this Tesla with this license plate on blast for, wait for it, public foreigner word I can't say on this platform. They were doing the horizontal tango, connect four without the close. You know what I'm talking about, connect four. Is that the one where you connect the dot? Or is that something else? I don't even know these games. What is it? The Twister. They were playing Twister without the close on, okay? In the Tesla. Y'all know what I'm saying. I can't say S, okay? I gotta censor everything all the time. It's annoying. But yes, it was the same car from the TMZ video. So let's break this down. So May 18th, 2022 at 7:44 p.m. to be exact, Moontron posts, every once in a while at Nextdoor over-delivers when I need it most, hashtag public foreign, hashtag Tesla. So this is a screen cap of a post from the Nextdoor app. If you don't know what that is, it's an app that connects neighbors to discuss, you know, neighborly things like what's going on in the neighborhood. And this one neighbor posted, people having S in a car at 5:45 while kids and families are walking around. And Moontron decided that this was more newsworthy than just their neighbors, but there's no way they would have known exactly how newsworthy this would be. 5 months later, this public foreign notice is about Ned, y'all. Like, I just, bitch. I can't make this shit up. You know, if this Tesla is a rocket, Twitter is a talking, okay? Ayo! Sorry, wow, this is something. And we already know that Ned was seen out and about cheating with Alex in May.
Ned.
I found out your shenanigans in May.
And like, that's the car they're picking up their kids in. Like, if you have to, like, you know, if you have to like unzip and just let it fall out and fall into someone else, like, can you please like at least get a rental? Cause like, come on, dude, come on, Ned, bring it again, Ned, bring it in. Come on, dude. Okay, back it up. You too close. I just like, you gonna have to burn the car, Ned. That's a lot. Now, to be fair, cause you know, we try to be fair here on this channel, I guess there is the possibility that it was Ned and Ariel in that car on May 18th. It's possible, but let's face it, it wasn't Ariel in that car, okay? Allegedly.
Ned and I had the same thing to do one day. And we were here in the office and we were doing like some PR for the cookbook. We did it, and we drove our cars separately here because I think I had, you know, I probably had a podcast in the morning or something like that. And I knew, you know, like both of us were done for the day. And at, you know, 4:30, I'm like, okay, I need to go home so that I can be home when you know, to take care of the kids. And Ned's like, okay, I'll see you in like an hour and a half. I was like, why?
Yeah.
What? Why don't I stay here and do work and I'll see you in an hour and a half? You know, it was just such an interesting thing. It didn't even occur to me.
That video happened to be posted right around that same time frame of people finding that next door post. That's why people are kind of putting the pieces together saying, this is what happened.
But none of this would have come out if Ned hadn't called the paparazzi to attempt to save his image, allegedly. Okay, we are gonna continue this atrocious story, but real quick, a huge thank you to our second sponsor, HelloFresh, who is one of my favorite things ever. So I don't know about you, but with the holidays just around the corner, I am running around like every minute of the day trying to get everything done, and the list just feels endless. And the last thing that I want to do is have to meal prep and grocery shop and cook every day, okay? Whew, like, not only do I pretty much suck at cooking, but I ain't got the time, okay? Which is why HelloFresh has been a game changer and something I've used for over a year now. HelloFresh is the best meal kit that delivers fresh, delicious foods, step-by-step easy recipes, and fresh pre-measured ingredients ready to go from the farm right to your front door, so you save time and you don't have to grocery shop and you save money, honey. And the food is seriously so delicious. Like, I just cooked this mouth-watering pan-seared pork bulgogi with jasmine rice and savory carrots one night, and the most delicious burgers ever the next night. Like, I cooked that, okay? I can burn a bowl of cereal, okay? But I cooked that. With over 35 weekly recipes, there is something for everyone. You can customize your box by swapping out proteins or sides, and with options like meat, veggie, pescatarian, fit and wholesome meals, and calorie smart, you can stick to your health goals. HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping, I have done the math, and 25% cheaper than eating out. And the pre-portioned ingredients means way less food waste, and nearly all packaging is recyclable. Love that. So if you want to save time and money this holiday season and experience the joy of not having to think about your meals and skipping the grocery store, go to HelloFresh.com and use code SWOOP60 for 60% off plus free shipping. That is such a great offer. So go to HelloFresh.com and use code SWOOP60 for 60% off plus free shipping, and treat yourself, honey. You deserve it. Okay, back to the doc.
You are?
Working things out.
Well, that's good to hear.
So this lost focus thing, since at least May, Ned, since May, the fact that months later you were not only spotted, but took a picture with a fan at a Harry Styles concert where you were spotted alone with your food baby, shows exactly how brazen and untouchable Ned thought he was. Like, you literally know that people are spotting you, and you're still out here. That same weekend, you're just full on making out and going to second, maybe third base on the dance floor of a public club with people around. So like, lost focus? Lost focus on what, Flanders? So this got me thinking, like, what is this type of psychology here? Like, what could Ned possibly have been thinking? Well, again, I'm not a doctor. I am not diagnosing anything, and I am not here to place stigma on mental illness or disorders, but there are traits of negative narcissism with this. And like, I know that that word has been thrown around every 2 to 3 business days. Okay, they really expediting it around here, but there are negative traits of narcissistic tendencies tendencies happening here. And again, not all narcissistic traits are negative. Let's not stigmatize that. But one doesn't have to be a diagnosed narcissist to display actions that are narcissistic, and those actions can sometimes be harmful. In a psychology article for Time magazine, Jeffrey Kluger writes about this exact phenomenon in relation to powerful men like formerly universally respected General Petraeus, who was the head of the CIA before he stepped down after a cheating scandal. For both capital and lowercase narcissists, some of what may be going on is a sort of learned doublethink. Of course, powerful men are smart enough to be aware of consequences, but the charmed ride they've enjoyed for so long leads them to believe, viscerally if not rationally, that those rules somehow won't apply to them. Does this sound in any way like Ned? I mean, he was a manager at BuzzFeed during their hockey stick growth years, and then spent the following 8 years as co-founder and stars of the Try Guys company, best-selling author, whatever that's worth. Oh, and they also managed to cross over to conventional television with their Food Network show. So yes, powerful charmed ride he's enjoyed. Check. I'm not discrediting the work that went into that, but charmed nonetheless. With leaders like this, there's truly no awareness of the likelihood that they'll suffer any consequences, says psychologist Amy Burnell of Ohio State University at Newark. The idea is, this doesn't apply to me, somehow I'm not going to get caught. We've done studies about decision making and impulsivity in narcissists, and they really don't think about the consequence. It does kind of seem that for how brazen he was flaunting his affair in the public eye in the age of the internet, I don't think he could imagine that the Try Guys would have just instantly dropped his ass, although I do kind of still have suspicions that they may have known or suspected long before it got addressed and like said, yo, stop that shit, and he didn't. I don't know if that's true. I just kind of got a sense of that. Now, psychologist Keith Campbell of the University of Georgia, who studies narcissists in relationships, has run similar experiments in which subjects play games of like luck or skill and wager like fake money on the results. And a great deal of how aggressively they play seems to be linked to how high they score on questionnaires that measure narcissism. On risk-taking and betting tests, narcissists tend to overpredict their performance, Campbell says, and they tend not to learn from the times they don't win. And which is interesting, right? This suggests that someone like Ned, or, you know, kind of thinking in that mindset, you know, could get caught out having a romantic evening with his subordinate employee at a Harry Styles concert, and someone sees them, recognizes them, maybe even takes a selfie with them, but instead of that scaring Ned in attempting to make the affair at least more discreet, if not stopping it, it emboldens him to then over the next day or few days go out even further and be out at the club, fully making out in public. Like, you see, he knows people recognize him. There's part of me that wonders if he even got a thrill out of that in a way that ultimately blew up in his face and hurt his family.
If some cheating is happening, it's probably like indicative of some deeper problems. So like, you say keep it in?
I say tell the person. You are the father!
So another aspect we glean from the TMZ video is Ariel's statement. We're working on working it out.
You are?
Working on working things out.
Currently, she is standing by her man. That is entirely her choice, and no one should ever judge her for that. But of course, there's going to be the questions that pop up. Did Ned put her up to this? If the paparazzo was called by Ned, was he instructed to ask that question? Well, yes would be the answer if that's what happened. When the public cries for blood on behalf of Ariel, there are many women who stand by their famous man, especially during the PR phase or the admittance of a cheating scandal. Famously, we've got, you know, Hillary and Bill Clinton after the Monica Lewinsky blue dress cigar Oval Office situation.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
And Nico and Kevin Hart after Kevin was filmed inside another woman and then extorted by his buddy to release the tape. Bitch, I didn't even know all that shit happened, but I learned doing a little research on this topic.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry.
And then we've got Behati Prinsloo and Adam Levine, Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson after he was filmed cheating on her at the club in 2017. Then again when multiple videos of him cheating came out again in 2018. Then again when he kissed Kylie Jenner's BFATF Jordan Woods that made it all the way to the Red Table Talk. Oh, by the way, BFATF is best friend at the time because Kylie dropped Jordan after all of this. Now Khloe did finally leave this time, but not for long because she got back together with Tristan. And then finally, Khloe stepped away for good after he impregnated an IG model, and he denied it until eventually he was court ordered to take a paternity test, and
you are the father.
Of course, Beyonce turned Jay-Z's cheating into a very lucrative album. Good for her. And Cardi B stayed with Offset after he cheated and said this: "When me and my husband got into our issues, you know, he cheated and everything, and I decided to stay with him and I worked together with him. A lot of people were so mad at me. A lot of women felt disappointed in me. But it's real life shit if you love somebody and you stop being with them and you're depressed and social media is telling you not to talk to that person because he cheated. You're not really happy on the inside until you have the conversation. Then if you get back with them, it's like, how could you? People that be in marriages for years, when they say till death do us part, they're not talking about little arguments like you leave the fridge open," which, you know, shockingly for me is a good point from Cardi. She's done some questionable things that apparently nobody wants to talk about. But the celebrity part of a cheating scandal magnifies the public opinion, like putting the person who got cheated on into an even worse position in the way I see it. They're already the victim here, like Ariel, and now they are being pressured from the public to leave this person forever. And if they don't, then they are shamed by the public. I mean, how shitty do we have to make it on the victim? And I know it might feel like people are trying to uplift them with the "you're better than that" and "you deserve to leave this person, leave him queen," but it's actually putting an unnecessary pressure that they need to now also consider pleasing or displeasing the public, in addition to the incredibly difficult feelings they are already forced to navigate in their marriage or relationship. They should really only have to focus on themselves and their families, and I think that we should support that without pressuring one way or the other. Like, I hate when I've seen people pressuring Ariel to leave. That might not be what's in the best interest for her, for the children, for the family, and she just might still love him, you know? But this got me digging into some other things that I found fascinating. So did you know that, in fact, up to 75% of couples rocked by an affair stay together? Bitch! That is way more than I thought, and I found that fascinating. So I had to dig deeper and find out why that is. Now, with some of the research that I did, it turned out some not so great reasons for spouses staying, specifically women staying with cheating husbands in these scenarios. So fear of being alone keeps people in all kinds of horrible situations and relationships, says the life coach. But yeah, fear of being alone, it's a bitch, right? Like it really can be for a lot of people. Learning to be comfortable alone can be extremely difficult depending on your childhood or your current circumstances. And some people who are extremely fortunate to have a healthy family dynamic and healthy social life throughout their upbringing can actually have a very difficult time learning to be comfortable alone. Whereas someone, you know, who is forced to be alone and forced to deal with, you know, a possibility of less than a family ideal dynamic or abuse can be very comfortable being independent because they've done that work their whole life. So an unfaithful spouse may trigger a fear of being alone in some, while it may seem unforgivable for others. So if we step back and look to the experts, how does a couple make it work after one of them cheats? I know probably quite a few of you have been cheated on, so maybe this will give you some help. Well, they both recognize that things will be different. Couples often struggle with the desire to make the relationship just like it used to be before the cheating occurred. But once trust has been broken, that's hardly ever possible. After cheating, both people need to accept that the old relationship is gone on and that a new one needs to be established. So in instance of the old relationship, according to the experts with Ned, that shit is dead and Ned killed it. So it's kind of like gotta start over and do it slowly in their timing. There needs to be an acceptance on both sides that the relationship will never be like it was, that the cheating will always be a scar on the past, and that the only way to stay together is to grieve the loss of what was and redefine the new relationship. I thought that was a really profound insight there, this idea of grieving the loss so that you can, you know, kind of heal that scar as best you can and start new if that's what you choose to do. But for simply because Ned's affair was so brazen, so out in the open, so seemingly almost like God complexed in a way that like, I'm invincible, nothing could touch me, look at me just flaunting my affair everywhere, that I personally don't know if he has the capability of accepting that his marriage just will never be the same as it was, you know? Anytime anyone of the Try Guys does something in the future, it will be a reminder of Ned's affair. The same thing's gonna be attached to Food Baby, Alex Baby. And this, again, is largely because he based his entire personality and platform and made money off of this idea of being the ideal husband. Now, another thing that experts agree on is that therapy is a must. Willingness to go to couples therapy as soon as possible is a must, and it needs to be mutual. Trying to just work it out without professional help is not likely to work. Which, I'm a big advocate for therapy, but if therapy is a must, then guess what? Financial accessibility has entered the chat. Ain't that about a bitch? Because now you have to be privileged financially in order to stay together after a spouse cheats. Like, I don't even know where to begin with this, because in Ned and Ariel's case, they definitely have access to and funding for couples therapy. So that is what it is and can be a huge support for them getting through Ned being a giant piece of shit. But for the rest of many people, considering that having extra dough saved up for couples counseling in case one of the partners cheats is not common for the average person, then like it becomes a real challenge, doesn't it? Like, hey honey, did you remember to put some coin from your last paycheck in the just in case one of us cheats savings account so we could get therapy? Oh, you mean you spent that on groceries? What an ass. I don't necessarily agree with that assessment. I wanted to share that, but I don't necessarily agree with it. I think couples have mended their relationships without therapy, but I still think if you can get it, please try it too. Now, another thing that experts agree on is that the cheater must realize that any trust building will take time and it is not on their watch. There needs to be a willingness on the part of the individual who cheated to allow the person who was cheated on to set the timeline for recovery. This is not and cannot be about getting over it and moving forward quickly, but instead about giving each other time, establishing new rules for the relationship, and slowly rebuilding trust. Even if time has gone by and trust is being rebuilt, the cheater must accept that the cheatee could get triggered by like anything. And the cheater can't be like, oh, just get over it already. Like, that clock is busted. Ned broke it.
On Labor Day weekend, multiple fans alerted us that they had seen Ned and an employee engaging in public romantic behavior.
Y'all know with the Swoop Doc, I like to take these situations and try to apply some practical, I don't know, learning for you, if it helps you, if you've been in a similar situation, or helps you to identify behaviors and things that can hopefully keep you a little safer, a little happier. So in part one, when I was analyzing how the 3 remaining Try Guys had, you know, kind of ousted Ned for many justifiable reasons from the company, and it seems like potentially from their lives and their friendship, it caused me to wonder how many of you who, if you've had a friend who cheated, did you stay friends with them? Did you say, hey, are you okay? What can I do? Or did you set boundaries for yourself and decide that your friend cheated on someone, you can't be friends with them anymore? And I was just really fascinated by your responses, and so many of you responded, so I wanted to read some of your comments and give some thought. First up, Lab Geek says, I wouldn't stop being friends with someone close to me that cheats on their partner. What would that have to do with our relationship? Unless the other party was a close friend of mine separate from the mutual hypothetical friend, I wouldn't condone their actions, but I certainly wouldn't cut a close friend off for cheating unless, like I said, the other party was a closer friend of mine. And I remember in the first doc, I read a statistic about how 1 in 4 cheat on their partner. I believe it was 1 in 4 men in particular, which is 25%, right? So 25% of men, at least in this country, cheat on their partner at some time, and they're gonna have friends and family, and is it appropriate to cut them out because they cheated? And what if you happen to be the one who cheated? Would you expect your friends to cut you off? Would you think that was warranted or not? Anyways, let's get on to another one. MJ Hutchinson 4 says, I was in a very similar situation when my ex-husband cheated on me with a coworker. Most of our friends slowly vanished after watching the train wreck play out. I received very little support in the long run. My ex's best friend is still his best friend though, and acts like nothing happened. I have been sort of fascinated with this entire situation though. It makes me feel better that people do actually face very real consequences for this behavior. First of all, I am so sorry for what you went through, and I do hope that you now have a support system that is there to lift you up through what you have been through, because you absolutely deserve that support system. And thank you for sharing that. That's a very vulnerable thing for you to share, and I appreciate that. Friends of mine remain friends with a person who cheated on me, and it's hurtful, but like, I can't choose their friends for them, you know? Victoria Alonso says, in response to the hypothetical, I did have a friend who was cheating on her boyfriend, and I told her boyfriend's best friend because I felt like it wouldn't be my place, but I absolutely dropped her. Cheating is a betrayal of trust, and if I see a friend can't be trusted in one respect, I think it speaks volumes about their general character. Very, very interesting. And there were several people who commented something similar, that like, no, like it doesn't matter, you cheated, that's betrayal, I am done with you. Savannah Duran says, every time my friends have cheated on their significant other, I have told them that they have to tell them within X amount of time or I will, and then me telling their significant other would end up ruining the friendship. Very, very interesting thoughts. Bethany Schmidt says, if you will cheat on the person you vowed to honor until death, moreover, what it does to your flesh and blood, children, you can fuck off, because why would I think you wouldn't betray me as a friend? Nope, dead to me. Whew. I mean, yeah, I definitely see cases for both. It is very tough as someone who has been cheated on, as someone who has seen friends cheat. It's a tough thing. Sometimes I've known that relationship that they were in was very, very unhealthy, and for whatever reason, they didn't take the steps necessary to end it before the cheating, and so then cheating was almost a way to kind of sabotage it and set it in motion. It's definitely not a healthy way to handle it, but sometimes that is people's path. I have dropped a friend who cheated on their significant other quite regularly, who tried to draw me into hiding it for them. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. It's a sticky situation, but thank you all of you for who shared your thoughts on this, because I find it not only fascinating, but hopefully help some of you in just like hearing other people's thoughts about how they handle these situations, because maybe it makes you feel hopefully validated in how you have chosen to set your own boundaries and handle the things in your life. Okay, it is time for a kitty palette cleanser. Thanks for being here and for adding your voice to the conversation. I really appreciate all of you. And quick announcement again, I have been working nonstop on the new Petty University apparel line for the fall, winter, and holiday gift collection. Completely different from anything I have ever designed or released. New designs, new vibes, a matching set. We got bottoms. I'm very excited about it. I hope that you all are as well. I am obsessed with the way it has turned out, and I cannot wait for you to see it. A couple of Twitter shout outs from my last doc, which is part 1 of this Try Guys series. If you haven't seen it, it is shocking, and it is linked below. First shout out goes to Alton, who says, very informative doc that cleans up any and all confusion around the situation. Recommend this to anyone who wants to know what happened. Also, always appreciate Swoop's ability to make these easily complicated issues easier to understand. and thank you so much for those kind words. And that's what I'm here for, trying to make these things a little more digestible and also hopefully help y'all in the process with something in your life. Second shout out goes to Biracial Scribe, who says, it's the sperminating wife guy for me. Listen, I don't know, that word just came out of my mouth. I don't know where and why, but we going with it, okay? You just be sperminating shit and you need to stop. If you want to be my next Twitter shout out, make sure to follow me on Twitter at SpankyB, linked below, and retweet this video right here. Also hit me up again on Instagram, linked in the description. That's where I post most often. I would love to see you there. I'm not gonna lie, okay? I'm feeling a little lonely on Instagram, okay? I don't know how to crack whatever code they got over there. So if you want to help a girl crack the code, then let's connect. Be sure to tap the link in the description at rocketmoney.com/swoop and check out Rocket Money for free and treat yourself to the financial organization and freedom, lower your bills and management. Be sure to check out HelloFresh by going to hellofresh.com and use code SWOOP60 for 60% off plus free shipping, and treat yourself, honey. You deserve it. I want to extend another word of support to Ariel and her family. While I can't imagine what she's going through on this public level, I do know what it feels like to be cheated on, albeit I don't have kids. That's a whole other subset. And either way, the shit sucks, no matter the circumstances. And as we continue to see those who have influence over millions of people do seriously problematic things that negatively impact not just their viewers, but potentially elements of society and different communities, one thing remains abundantly clear. Having a deep parasocial relationship with influencers can be a slippery slope, and in instances where the influencer is manipulative, lying, and gaslighting, it can become dangerous. While we may think that we know someone based on the tidbits they share of themselves online, when they're exposed for being completely the opposite, when their true selves are revealed, believe that. I know a lot of people were deeply hurt as a viewer by everything that has unfolded in this situation and with other influencers who abuse their power. And my only hope in every doc that I share is for you, for the viewers, to know that you have options when it comes to who you allow the honor of being an influencer. I do consider this position an honor, and I find it really sad when I see others abuse that privilege. You all are individual, unique people. It's a privilege for you to allow anyone, someone like me, anyone, to do things, to create content or anything that influences any part of you, because you don't have to open that door to us, and you do. At the end of the day, we as viewers collectively do hold the power. Like, if any influencer is shown to be lying to you and manipulating you and deflecting from the issues or avoiding them entirely until they're caught abusing their power, just know that there are a million other authentic quality creators and influencers who aren't doing that. Well, while I do believe some people can, hopefully, if they ever do take accountability for things, we don't see a lot of that. We've seen some examples, but we don't often see that. And in the examples that we do, hopefully they learn, grow, change, and we can, move on together and still enjoy their content. But again, there are zillions of quality creators, influencers who aren't abusing their power, who generally care about you and the value that you bring to our lives as creators. While it's true that no one is perfect and we shouldn't, pedestal people, there's a stark difference from making mistakes and learning versus openly taking advantage of you and hoping that y'all didn't notice. Keep your minds open, and most of all, at the end of the day, stay petty. Class dismissed. Swoop!